Correctional officers face many dangers. However, I believe the most traumatic thing that can happen for officers to see and hear about is a co-worker being killed by an inmate. I was told that what I'm about to tell here on my own YouTube channel is a little harsh to write for an article. And I can understand that. There's a concern that this may bring up trauma again for someone who has been through this. And I want everyone to understand something. Number one, every year, most of the correctional institutions across the country who had an officer killed usually have a tribute or for the memorial of the fallen officer. And it does bring back those memories again. But why do we do that? We want to remind everyone that we are in a very dangerous environment and not to become complacent. And most of all, we want to let the family and friends and co-workers of the fallen officer know that we care about that fallen officer. That's why we have memorials everywhere in the country for fallen officers. Florida has Wakulla Correctional Institution, the wall, with the names of our fallen officers. Unfortunately, we also have to learn from these incidents. It's a shame that we have to have these incidents occur, but we need to learn from them. So I'm going to put this out here, and if anybody feels this is too traumatic to discuss, please let me know in the comments. I don't take things to heart. It's not going to hurt my feelings. I just feel we need to know, and we need to let our young officers know coming in, this isn't a game you're coming into. You're not joining corrections and it's going to be all fun and games. You're joining corrections coming into a dangerous environment. I've had people say, oh, don't say that. We won't be able to hire anybody. Folks, come on. Tell them now up front what they're about to face, and if they still sign up to be a correctional officer, we probably have a good chance to keep that officer. Do you want to pay all that money and train them and let them come in and find out, hey, this is not what I thought it was? Let's at least try to be honest up front. I'm going to read some scenarios. I hope they're not too harsh. An inmate named Thomas Woodard teamed up with an inmate named Michael Dutcher to escape from the Anamosa State Penitentiary near Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Both had a long criminal history. They did not care if they had to hurt someone to escape successfully. They were interrupted by an officer, 2 nurses, and another inmate. Inmate Woodard decided to take them hostage. When things did not go his way, he started killing people. Woodard used a hammer to beat Officer Robert McFarland and Nurse Lorena Schultz to death. Woodard then beat an inmate severely with a hammer who tried to intervene. The director of the Iowa Department of Corrections calls this pure evil, and I agree. Tell me we do not work in a very dangerous environment? Charlotte Correctional Institution, Florida. A female officer in her probationary year was asked to escort 5 inmates alone in the evening into the dark to allow them to work on a project that had a deadline because the governor was coming to see the new building. 3 of the inmates decided to use this for opportunity as an escape attempt. 2 inmates of the 5 did not agree. They were beaten by the 3 inmates. Then a hammer was used to kill the Charlotte Correctional Officer. Every year, there is a memorial for Darla Latham at the Charlotte Correctional Institution. Yes, every year they do attribute and bring back that memory. Yes, it's traumatic. But why do we do it? To show respect to family and friends and let them know we care. Oh, do I agree with what the institution did? That would be a whole nother video. I do not think she should have been alone with these 5 inmates with tools. Okay? That's a whole nother story and investigation. That did occur. You can read about it if you look at the death of Darla Latham, Charlotte Correctional Institution, Florida. Google it. It'll tell you the whole story. In Georgia, a male correctional officer was escorting 2 inmates, and one inmate attacked him from behind with a homemade weapon and killed him. A simple escort that we do every day, and we think this is normal. Hey, ha ha, he. No. You can talk to inmates, that's fine. But make sure, and I don't want to get into training on how to escort, but just for quick reference, make sure you're there in front of you, you're walking to the side and behind enough to watch every move they make. Head on a swivel. I'm not blaming this officer. I feel bad for the family and friends that have to suffer from this incident, the co-workers that went through the traumatic event, the trauma that affected them. Please be aware of these dangers. That's the point of my video today, to be aware of these dangers. And don't think it's a simple escort. Any escort can turn deadly. In Texas, female correctional officer working in the kitchen went into a storage room to get something. Inmate attacked her and killed her in the storage room. You know, the kitchen, the mess hall, dining facility, whatever you want to call it, in prisons and jails is one of the most dangerous places to work. Why, you ask? Knives, scissors, everything, all the utensils they use to cook with, every boiling water, hot water, everything is there in place for an inmate to hurt another inmate or an officer. You think our job is not dangerous? Think again. Think twice. Don't become complacent. Every day you're there, you have to keep your head on a swivel. Peripheral vision. I don't like tunnel vision when officers are walking right by. Hey, didn't you see that? What? Oh, that. Come on, folks. Your life is at stake. Civilian staff's lives are at stake. The risk of escape makes the civilians on the street, their lives are at stake. Remember, working together makes us stronger. We are there to protect the citizens and protect each other. Please remember these things. These traumatic events, when they do occur, are terrible for everyone. Pure evil. I have to agree with the director of the Iowa Department of Corrections. Pure evil lurks all around you every day. Yet if you become complacent and think they're your friends, you think this is just another day at the shop. No, you're not a welder. You're not a blacksmith. Okay? You are not at another day in the shop. You're at another day in a very dangerous environment. And I'm an old school. I have to tell it like it is. And I think when we get too soft and are afraid to tell about these things in media or training in corrections, I think we've overlooked something. Okay, I know it's traumatic and it could cause traumatic events to happen again, but hey, folks, we're seeing it every day in the media anyway. Let us tell it, not the news media. Let us learn from it. Let us honor our fallen officers and hope that the civilians on the street join us in honoring our fallen officers. But to sugarcoat things in training a correctional officer, in my opinion, is only making us weaker. I'm an old school, crusty old butt, but let me know what you think. And I hope I didn't put out too much harsh information. Please subscribe. Gary York, True Prison Stories. Be safe, and thank you for your service.